Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're talking about one of the most awkward and overthought questions in dating, which is, of course, should you kiss on the first date? Now, some people swear you should always go for it, and others say you shouldn't do it, never, because it's not very classy, it's tacky. And a lot of guys end the night just standing there, doing that weird stuff in your head. Like, is this the moment? Does she even like me? Should I kiss her? What if she doesn't kiss me back? What if I'm about to make this really uncomfortable? So, let's make it simple. There is no rule that says you must kiss on the first date. And on the other hand, there's also no rule that says you shouldn't kiss on the first date. And the right answer is maybe a little bit vague and maybe not that helpful, but the right answer is it really depends on the energy of the date, not some imaginary dating law. A kiss isn't a reward for your good performance. It's not something you're supposed to force just to, lock it in, to have it in the bag. A kiss is just a natural expression of mutual interest, so there should be mutual interest to have a kiss make sense. So if it feels natural, it makes sense. And if it doesn't, then forcing a kiss usually does more harm than good. You can't force a moment. The biggest mistake guys make is treating the kiss like it is the goal of the whole date. It isn't. The goal of the date should be just checking out the vibe. See if you can have a conversation, see if you even like her. That's it. But a lot of guys think, if I don't kiss her, the date was a complete failure, total disaster. That's not true. And that mindset also creates a lot of pressure, awkwardness, hesitation. And we all know a date is already enough pressure. We already know it's going to be awkward. And women feel that pressure immediately. And nothing kills attraction faster than a moment that feels, forced, strategic, you know, manufactured. We all want that kiss to feel magical. So here's the thing that you should do, and that is ask yourself a question. And that is, does it feel right or does it make sense to have a kiss? And to answer that question, you need to pay attention to the date, to the woman. You have to pay attention to some signals, some cues, like has there been eye contact? Has there been laughter? Has there been some light physical closeness, like sitting closer to each other, brushing arms, or some playful touches? Has she been playing with her hair? Is she, teasing you a little bit? Is there some banter? Those cues, those signals, you have to pay attention to them. Now, I'm not saying that at the end of the date you should get a checklist and see if you can check off all these things. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying these things, subconsciously you are already checking these boxes during the date. If you pay attention, you will automatically tick off these boxes. So if the answer is yes, you feel it, then a kiss will make sense. If the answer is no, then a kiss probably doesn't make much sense. So you shouldn't manufacture it. Even though, these are just some general, guidelines or rules maybe, and, most of the times it's correct. But there's also, I've also had dates where, these things weren't that obvious, and I thought, well, a kiss doesn't really make sense, but she kisses me. That happens. You know, a good first date kiss usually doesn't come out of nowhere. It can happen. I mean, I've been there. Caught me off guard, but usually it doesn't come out of nowhere. And if it comes out of nowhere, you probably haven't been paying attention because, there is a build up through the date. The conversation flows. You see that there is a lot of eye contact. The energy feels relaxed. There is some flirting going on. And maybe that goodbye just lingers for a second longer than necessary. Those are your signals, man. You should kiss her. And here's something important to remember: not kissing on the first date, even if all these signals are there, does not automatically mean that she's not interested in you. I mean, some women like to take things slower, some women need a little bit more time, more comfort. That's fine. And some women just don't kiss on date one, even if they really like you. That's not rejection, that's preference. But, at the same time, we have to, you know, say that if you felt a strong chemistry, if there is a strong connection, and the moment was clearly there, then avoiding the kiss out of fear or just avoiding it can also send the wrong signal, and we don't want that either. So, if you're standing really close, you're looking at each other, you can feel that you're both really awkward, like you both know that you should kiss and you want to kiss, and you're smiling and you're giggling, and it feels awkward, really, really childish. That's what you want. And then suddenly you go, well, already then, I'll be on my way. Have a good night, bye. And you just walk off. That will leave her confused as hell. And you will be confused also because both of you will walk away thinking, yep, that was the moment we should have kissed. And you feel like a dumbass. So the key here is awareness. It's not about boldness, it's not about hesitation or fear, it's about being aware of what is going on. Another thing guys worry about is coming off as creepy. You shouldn't worry about that. The truth is, a kiss is only creepy if you ignore the signals. And yes, then, guys, we can come off creepy, but it's not because we are creepy, it's because we ignore the signals. You know, Imagine this: you meet someone for the first time, and that person extends a hand, to shake your hand, but you hug the person. You know, it's not that you're a creepy person, but it comes off as creepy because you miss the signal of shaking the hand. That is just weird. So you have to pay attention. And that is, I think, the main problem where we guys fuck up. So if she's leaning away, crossing her arms, stepping back, you know, or clearly closing the interaction, then don't go for it. You know this isn't going to work. You know she's not open to a kiss. So respect that. That actually builds trust. And women remember when a man reads the room properly. It's a big thing. If you're unsure, there's nothing wrong with slowing down. You can stay close and hold eye contact and, let her meet you halfway. Or, and this is a simple trick that I always use, especially if I'm not really certain that I read the cues right, and there is this moment and you're staring at each other, and I say something along the lines of, what? What is it? And she goes, what? That's an invitation for me to say something, what's on my mind. And then I say something along the lines of, I'd really like to kiss you right now. And then you just see how she responds. You know, there could be a reaction where she's like, oh, yeah, I don't feel the same way. That's fine. But more often than not, you're probably reading the room correct, and she will smile or she will say something along the lines of, okay, I don't mind, or go for it. You know, Confidence isn't about pushing, it's about being clear, it's about being calm. And let's kill the biggest myth of all: a kiss does not determine whether there will be a second date. Yeah, sounds crazy, right? I mean, I've had a lot of first dates where there was a kiss, but there was never a second date. What determines that is how she felt about you, how she felt with you. That's what determines whether there's going to be a second date. Was the date enjoyable? Did she feel comfortable? Did she feel seen and heard? Did she feel some level of attraction? Those things matter far more than whether your lips touched for 3 seconds at the end of the night. And sometimes a kiss seals the moment beautifully. Sure. Sometimes not kissing keeps the tension alive. So, you can win either way. Both can work if the connection is there, if the connection is real. Then it doesn't really matter that much. So here's the bottom line. Don't kiss because you think you're supposed to. Kiss because the moment invites the kiss. And if the moment doesn't invite it, don't force one just to check a box. Dating works best when you stop chasing the outcomes and just start paying attention to the energy. And when you do that, the right move usually becomes very obvious to you. So that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye bye.